YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is Good Company Strategies and Tactics. So, Good Company is a game that I covered on my channel a couple of years ago. It's been in early access for quite a while, and it had some problems back in the day, but it has vastly improved. It recently came out, hit 1.0, and they've cleaned up a lot of logistics things. So that has inspired me to dive back into this, and also not only just dive back in, but also ramp up my knowledge of the game to strategy and tactics level. So today we are going to cover, starting off mostly in the free play thing. This is sort of the sandbox scenario. We'll be starting with getting your products off the ground, getting them designed, what kind of things you'll want to design, and what kind of considerations you want when designing your first product. So let's dive right in. You know what, I'm going to switch around some of our people since, who knows, so many other things just leave the default people on here for your competitors. We're still getting 1 1-star, 1 2-star, 1 3-star. And then everything else we'll leave as stock standard. Do Timber Town Winter. I just like the wintry aesthetic. Let's dive in. Now, again, praise, pause button. Of course, the game always had a pause button. That wasn't one of the issues back in the day. So, the first thing that you're going to want to dive into and look at when considering what you should do for your first product is, well, twofold. One, you want to see what your company goals are for this quarter. And these company goals are randomly determined. So, when you boot up a free play game, these will be a different set of goals. But they can sometimes speak to what product you want. So you are offered 6 goals. You are able to complete 3 at max in a quarter. Sometimes the goals are product specific, sometimes they aren't. So here we've got, let's see here, produce 300 virtual pets and sell 190 virtual pets that have at least 3 tier 3 modules built in. Those are both looking pretty good to me, actually. So I think our course is set in the virtual pets thing here. And then increase the net worth. This one's also a really good one to get. So there, boom, we got our assignments. If you forget to set these right away, they will retroactively calculate their progress if you set them later on, so don't worry about it. Just make sure you set them before the end of the quarter. Now, when you now we need to design our product here, and at the beginning of any new free play, there are going to be exactly 2 randomly determined markets available. In this case, we have calculator and virtual pet. Your mileage may vary, but we already kind of know we're going into the virtual pet. But for the sake of tactics, we're going to look at both of them. So, the virtual pet, when you start things off with normal things, you have a plastic case or a wooden case to choose from. And each of these have their uses. We can also see what the expected features are. And these also are randomly determined based on the playthrough. You might have a virtual pet, another one that requires a 2.0 battery and a 1.0 visual display fidelity. So, it might go either way. Now, as far as what the cases go, so the wooden case, the upside for the wooden case is it gives you 0.5 style. This is basically like an extra feature that just raises your max price for the device. But the drawback is twofold. One is up front. You have 12 slots to fit modules in, as opposed to 14 with a plastic case. But wood is also more expensive than plastic. You can see it costs, for 100 wood, it costs $13.20. For plastic, for 100, it only costs $8.80. So there's another factor in mind there. But that being said, we at least for the virtual pet, I do like to go with the wooden case for the extra cash here. The form factor, the colors and whatnot, that's not that's this doesn't impact the gameplay of it. We will give it a good name here, though. Butterfly Mama Mini. So onto our modules here. Now the other thing to take note of with the different things is that the shape of the available module space is going to be different. And sometimes certain shapes are not conducive to certain modules. So that may cause you issues depending on what you're trying to fit. Now we have a bunch of different things, like this small DC motor. Do we want that? No, because that gives, if you look at the features, mobility and speed. People do not care about the mobility and speed of their mini Tamagotchi-like pet. They just want visual fidelity and battery life. So we're going to go to our displays. Now we have two choices here, the LED array, which gives us 0.5 per module, or the LED matrix, which gives us 1 per module. Now the differences you have here are interesting. The are interesting. So an LED array takes up 2 spaces, gives us half. The LED matrix takes up 3 but gives us a whole. So it's technically more space efficient to put in the matrix. However, the shape is a little bit less flexible, depending on how you want to suit this. It also, in terms of materials, requires some extra processing steps. So you want to keep all of this in mind when designing it. The other thing to take note of is look at the assembly time. The baseline is 1 day. Can't get around that. But every module that you add in increases the amount of assembly time based on how many module spaces you're putting in. So the more complex the more stuff you're jamming into there, the longer it's going to take your workers to assemble one of these things. Now we did say that we would put in level 3 modules here. So that's fine. 3 level 3 modules rather. So these are level 3 modules. Now let's go to our power supply. We've got single cell batteries. Same deal. This only gives us half of a benefit. Takes up 2 tiles. The battery stack gives us a whole, but this one, it takes up 3 but in a different shape. One that may or may not be as conducive to what we're looking for. But we put this in here. That's not too bad. Now we're pretty close to where we are with this. If you manage to meet or exceed all of the different categories here, you're going to your market appeal will go up. And if you get all of them, it'll go up to a 5-star market appeal. If you exceed these ratings, that's just gravy. That actually just adds to your maximum price. We can see here that 400 bucks of price is coming from visual fidelity alone. And then we're getting an extra 50 for that style bonus. You can see what the price bonus is. So for every 0.1 that we're exceeding in here, we're getting a $20 price bonus, and we're exceeding it by 0.5. But yeah, so since we can't put in another battery stack, not because we don't have enough total slots, but because we can't fit the shape in there, we are going to have to slum it with a single cell battery in this last part, just so we can sneak it in here. But that does meet the full requirements, giving us a 5.0 market appeal. 2-day assembly time's not too bad. Possible profit per unit 330. That's not too bad. As long as you're in the 300s, that's pretty good. Higher is obviously better, but this also fulfills our tier 3 module requirement for our thing, because the battery stack is, battery stack's tier 2. Well, that's problematic. One moment. I didn't have this company goal for the 3 tier 3 modules built in. I'd call that a good one here. In fact, we might even nix this one and stubbornly keep it. But let's, just for the sake of exploration here, let's see what happens if we go for a plastic case instead. See, because that has a little bit more room in it. So let's go back to our drawing board. We'll leave the Butterfly Mama Mini here. Another virtual pet, plastic. Create plat. Call this the micro. We will use one of these. We just got to see how the math susses out. So now our module, not only do we have more module spaces, but they're a lot more accessible. So now let's go for the full Monty here. You can get up to double the base required, at least on normal difficulty. On easier difficulties, you can go even higher, but you can get double the base required in terms of recognized bonus features. So the baseline requirement is 1.5, so we can go up to a 3 visual fidelity and get financially rewarded for it in terms of maximum price increases. So let's try and see if we can't cram 3 LED matrices in here. Yes, I think we can make this work. This is going to be one overstuffed product, but we still might be rewarded for it. So now we can throw in our battery stack in this little L shape here. That gives us 1.0 of battery life, and then squeeze in a single cell battery to max this bad boy out. Now, we're cramming a whole butt-ton more stuff in here, but our profit's actually not that high. I mean, our price is a lot higher, but so is our production costs here. So this isn't actually that much better. The only reason I'd actually want to do this is for our mission here, so that we get 3 of these. And, you know, in a way, it's a little bit more future-proofed. So then the alternative question being is, which of these do we want? So the micro cost, the micro takes longer to make, gives us $3.29. The mini takes less time to make, gives us a little bit more profit, and also requires less factory space to set up the stuff to cram into it. The mini is clearly the better choice in this regard. So we've got ourselves 2 contenders. Pretty clear which is the winner at the moment, between the Butterfly Mama Mini and the Butterfly Mama Micro. But what if I told you there was even a third way that we could build this thing that might blow these 2 out of the water? Let's go create new again. There's no cost to making a bunch of prototypes and you know, these sorts of things. So make them to your heart's content until you get a product that you want. We're going to go with the wooden case again, because I do like the price bump that we get from the style points. We'll go with this again. We'll go, we'll go for the bubblegum cake. Why not? And this is going to be the Butterfly Mama Mark 1. Onto the modules. So one of the other things that you want to design for, not only are we interested in hitting these stats, but we're interested in the ease of production. As you get higher tier materials, it requires more and more steps, and therefore more and more design space in your factory to get them going. So instead of using our LED matrix here, which requires not only electronic parts, which is a base material, that's easy, but the circuit board is a sub-product, so that requires more space to get the sub-products created in order to get the matrix created. We're going to just use LED arrays to hit our visual fidelity. So if we go, say, 1, 2, 3, now we've hit our visual fidelity. And we've got plenty of room for not 1 but 2 battery stacks. These battery stacks are the higher tier ones, but they just require base material, so it's easy enough to make battery stacks. And look at that, 364 G's profit per unit. It's a little bit longer to produce than the smaller one, but this is our most profitable design of the 3. 364 versus 329 versus 330, and it takes up less factory space than either of these. So I think we're going to go with the Butterfly Mama Mark 1. Into our factory floor. So in our next episode, I'm going to show you some ideal ways to set up a logistical layout for both production of the modules, the production of the goods themselves, and how to sort of read the market and plan how big of an operation you want for a given product. Because you don't want to undershoot it and not make as much money, but you also don't want to overshoot and flood your inventory with unsold products. So if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya!